Don't try anything you're about to see at home.
We're what you call experts.
On this bigger is better episode of MythBusters, the team takes 4 fan favorites to infinity and beyond.
X marks the spot. That's what we're aiming for.
First, can Adam and Jamie whip up a weapon from a water heater?
Favorite things to blow up. Right here.
Then will they make the Earth move with Earth movers?
I'm Jamie Heineman, and I'm going to thread a needle with an excavator.
Oh, no!
Meanwhile, Tori, Grant, and Carrie turn into rocket scientists
I think we got a winning design here.
to see if a flyby fireworks is really possible.
Keep your hands inside the vehicle at all times.
And finally, the team flings some bling in Bird Balance 2.0.
All we need now are some supermodels.
As they find out if a longer limo can give them the cliffhanger ending they need.
Look at the back end. It's coming off the ground.
Who are the Mythbusters? Adam Savage
Eating food cooked with C4.
and Jamie Heineman. Between them, more than 30 years of special effects experience. Together with Carrie Byer,
Right tool for the job.
Tori Galanchi,
We only have one shot at this.
and Grant Imahara.
That was a great result.
They don't just tell the myth. Fan request is this. If you replace a vertical launch with a horizontal one, can you really create a cannon? To find out, the guys wash up at the bomb range armed with their weapon of choice.
So how do you want to set this thing up?
Well, if the fans want to see a water heater made into a cannon, I guess we got to lie this thing on its side.
And if we're going to shoot it on its side, I feel really strongly that we need to shoot it at something.
Well, you want to go find something to shoot at, and I'll set this up.
I think it's a great plan.
We won't approach it unless these things are saying 0 or unless we've opened the valve.
So that's the cannon, and here's the cannon fodder. Yep, Adam's become the man with a van.
I know it's big and red, so it's kind of like hitting the broadside of the barn, but that's not going to stop me from making a target, because targets are pretty.
And with the target taking shape, that just leaves the lock and load, a process which starts with the addition of 30 gallons of water.
It's going to go down here. I think my work is done.
But for any of you at home worried your water heater might also go ballistic, here's some reassurance.
Why doesn't this happen in your house every day? Quite frankly, because they've designed it not to. And here's how. First, they don't restrict either the inlet or the outlet ports of the hot water heater. So that's one place the overpressure can go. Secondly, there's a thermostat in here, which, when the hot water heater's temperature gets too high, shuts off the power to both heating elements until the water heater cools down. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, is right here, when you install a hot water heater, you must install an overpressure relief valve. That means when the pressure in here gets too high, it goes and releases the water, thus releasing the pressure from the canister.
Needless to say, the Mythbusters have disabled all of those features, which is why they've gone to hunker in the bunker.
All we do now is wait. It's about halfway there, about 150 PSI.
I love this part.
This kills me.
From past experience, Adam and Jamie know that there's no blow until the pressure goes beyond 300 PSI. And 40 minutes later,
305 PSI.
they're right in that butter zone.
That was awesome!
That was.
I totally did not expect we would not go for that truck. In fact, I would have bet against it.
And we wheelied the little earth-moving machine.
Like a geyser on steroids, the power of the cannon has quite literally blown the van away. And a closer inspection of the damage reveals just how forceful their firearm was.
I found our projectile. That's the bottom of the hot water heater casing. And that, ooh, it's hot! That's the bottom of our hot water heater canister.
With debris strewn far and wide,
Well, that was the windshield.
it's definitely mission accomplished. 50 feet, courtesy of 500 skyrockets. But when Carrie, Tori, and Grant put it to the test, their small-scale flight wasn't promising. And their large-scale launch was even worse. But fans want this tall tale tackled again.
Okay, so people were disappointed with our flight vehicle the first time around, arguing that if it were a little more slick, it would have gone the mythical 150 feet.
I get that, but let's not forget that this was something the guy built in his garage. It was never going to be some carbon fiber, super aerodynamic thing.
Right, but that's what the fans want. This time, they want something a little more sophisticated.
All right, well, why don't we figure out what we did wrong last time, fix it in small scale, and then take it to full scale?
But this time, let's throw some heavy-duty rocket science into it.
NASA?
Yeah.
So, step one in Fireworks Man 2 is to work out what went wrong. And Grant's already got that sorted.
So the first time we tried this, we had two problems. One, The curvature of the surfboard caused lift, which caused us to exit the ramp early. The second problem, the Buster's center of gravity, which is this line right here, is above the center of thrust, which is this line right here. Now, for maximum stability, those two should be right on top of each other.
In charge of making those improvements is Tori, who not only addresses the two pivotal flight path problems,
Oh, Tori, that's amazing. Thanks, Carrie.
but also adds a couple of stability upgrades of his own.
All right, so these are the changes that I've made. I have lowered the center of mass so that it is in line with the center of thrust. Plus, I've added a nose cone to make it more aerodynamic. I'm also adding a larger stabilization fin. Last time, our fins were too small and it went out of control. So now that the model is done, we're going to take it to the wind tunnel and see if this is aerodynamic enough. Kind of like Men in Black, huh?
Once inside, they pivot their model at its center of gravity.
It's looking great.
If the model stays put when the wind test starts, then their design is stable. But any deviation, and it's back to the drawing board.
All right, we're set.
Okay, let's turn on the wind tunnel and see what happens. Bring on the wind!
Under the watchful eye of expert Steve Smith, the 50-knot wind gets fired up. But their hopes go down.
Pretty stable.
Steady as a rock. Fireworks Man. That's what happened last time. All right, so it looks like Fireworks Man is not stable at all.
Yep, flipping a 180 and then wobbling in the wind is about as unstable as it gets.
What if we put the rockets in the back? That's all I'm saying. So we just tested the new design for our Fireworks Man in the wind tunnel, and so far it is not looking very aerodynamic. But we're not going to give up. We have bigger fins. Hopefully that'll give us stability, and that'll be the winning model design.
And with those bigger fins glued in place, it's time for test 2. Where this time, things are looking solid.
It's working.
Looks good. So if it really is stable, we should be able to nudge it a little bit, and it should restore back to its original flight plan.
Don't nudge it too much.
Hey! That's stable.
That's awesome. I think we got a winning design here.
Still to come, will Fireworks Man take flight?
X marks the spot. That's what we're aiming for.
But next, Adam and Jamie unleash the big guns.
And 3, 2, 1. What happened? What happened?
In revenge of the water cannon, Adam and Jamie have just had a blast.
Pan over. We knocked the 6,000-pound digger backwards and lifted 2,000 pounds of railroad ties. We find ourselves wondering, what happens if we took all that energy and focused it and compressed it? Yeah, that's what we're doing next. We're going to encase this hot water heater in steel. We're going to focus all this energy out of barrel, and I think we're going to come out with a pretty darned respectable cannon.
So with the design ideas sorted, you might say it's full steam ahead.
In we go.
First, Jamie dives into the heater containment section.
It's nice and cozy in here.
Made of half-inch thick steel pipe. It should be strong enough, but Jamie's taking no chances.
We've taken 3 heavy passes with a welder on this side of the flange, and we're going to do the same on the other side. It may seem kind of overkill, but we've seen what these water heaters can do.
Meanwhile, Adam's taking aim with both barrels.
For the barrel, I'm using 2 20-foot lengths of Schedule 40 pipe. That's good. That 40-foot length should give my cannonball plenty of time to go as fast as possible. We have clearance. We want to harness all of this cannon's steam power.
Indeed, and after a quick 40-foot paint job, Adam's finished lock, stock, and barrel.
I think it looks lovely, don't you?
Which leaves just one thing, Jamie's baseplate catcher.
So we're going to put our water heater inside our canister and wait for it to blow. Now when it blows, its bottom, just like this one, is going to rocket towards the front of the canister. But because we don't want it to plug the hole that...
Here is not the aim, but the number of bricks destroyed. That's the benchmark that their steam cannon will be compared to. And after surveying the damage,
This is it. I got it.
Yep, there it is.
those numbers are in, and they're pretty substantial.
So what do we got?
Well, we had 11 rows penetrated, 37 bricks destroyed, and 23 knocked off.
That seems like a pretty good metric to start from.
Yeah, well, we'll see what the steam cannon does.
Later, the MythBusters fling some bling.
Unbelievable. We finally get a luxury car. And what do? We throw it off a cliff.
But next, will Fireworks Man hit infinity or beyond?
In 3, 2, 1.
At NASA's wind tunnel,
Bring on the wind!
the new and improved Fireworks Man is riding high.
I think we got a winning design here.
Because in a head-to-head stability test, version 2.0 has trounced their original design.
That's awesome.
So now, the team has headed to the middle of nowhere for its maiden flight in miniature.
We're here.
Ready for
science. I am so glad we are revisiting Fireworks Man.
Now we're going to test our small-scale Fireworks Man. So far, we've taken it to NASA, we've made a more aerodynamic design, and next we're going to launch it off into the desert.
Laid out our... I would say that's a successful launch. I mean, that thing went at least 300 feet in the air.
Yeah, and I think we got at least 150 feet in distance.
You know, it could have been a little straighter, but this is definitely worth moving on from.
Yep, I think it's time we take this full scale.
Yeah!
This launch was such a phenomenal success, but now it's Big Brother beckons.
Let's go to work.
Well, back at the shop, it's time to get building. Tori focuses on a full-size flight vehicle, complete with its large wooden fins
That should hold.
and gurney-inspired passenger capsule. Meanwhile, Grant gives the ramp a revamp.
And when we first tried this, we had a minor problem, and that was we had a trolley that our shuttle was riding on all the way up the ramp, but it separated prematurely. That is not going to happen this time because we're doing away with the trolley, and we are integrating our wheels directly into our launch vehicle. So it's going to travel all the way up the ramp, and by the time it gets to the end, it should be going fast enough that the fins take over and we get a straight launch.
That's the theory, and after a solid day's rocketeering, it's almost time to put it into practice. But first comes the all-important test on the ramp
That's awesome!
and a patented MythBusters makeover.
Best rocket ever.
And with that, it's time to ship out
This is gonna be so sick.
to one of the most iconic MythBusters locations of all.
Dude, look at this spot.
I think this is perfect. We put the ramp right here. Fireworks Man goes launching off into the valley. I mean, it can't get any better than this. We're here at a rock quarry in Angels Camp. Now, we've been here before. In fact, we blew up our cement truck here. We pushed cars off the cliffs here. Now, we're seeing if over 500 skyrockets is enough to send a man 150 feet in the air. It's time to put this myth to the test.
Force of launch without falling over.
This feels pretty solid.
I think we're done.
All right, let's get the fireworks, man.
Next, Buster gets dressed for success
Look at that.
Yeah! and strapped into the hot seat.
Remember, keep your hands and arms inside the vehicle at all times.
A quick balance check later.
That's pretty good, right?
To build up enough thrust to get our fireworks man to go over the 150-foot mark that we're looking for. This way we can confirm this myth.
Confidence may be sky high,
Hey, check it out. X marks the spot. That's what we're aiming for.
but the team is still taking precautions.
Just to give you an idea how dangerous this experiment is, we had to bring in a bomb tech, a pyrotech.
A viable cannon?
So cantankerous.
Please do not try what you are about to see at home.
We're what you call experts.
Can't you tell? At the fans' request, we've been looking into harnessing the awesome power of exploding hot water heaters. And so far, without any modification, we got one turned on its side to tip over a 5,000-pound van. But that's not good enough for us. We want to make a real cannon. So this time, we are sealing a hot water heater inside a heavy steel canister with nothing but a 37-foot barrel as its outlet. We've already fired a Civil War-era cannon to give ourselves a metric as to how powerful a cannon should be. And we're hoping to exceed that.
Assembly is definitely an all-hands-to-the-pump affair. But pretty soon, the cannon's locked.
Okay, kill it.
Wait for the tank to empty.
It's a rainbow!
It's hardly the cannon chaos they were after, but failure is always an option.
Well, round one was a failure. There's no way around it, so we're going to reset and have another go.
Next, in Revenge of the Myth, is another tall story.
In case the big bird doesn't work, I'll build something that will drop large amounts of poultry.
Sounds good.
Sounds weird.
Sounds bird-brain, but large fake flyers it is.
Now, since we're moving on to a more extreme car, the limo, it is fitting that we move on to a larger bird, a Cory buster. Now, they are native in Africa. They are one of the largest birds known to fly, and they weigh around 40 pounds. Now, since we don't have them here in North America, I need to make one. So I have a bag of sand that weighs around 40 pounds. What I need to do is make it look a little bit more like the bird before we drop it on the limo.
By recreating the world's heaviest flying bird, Tori's giving this myth a helping hand. He's also giving it a helping voice.
What do you think? Say hello to my robo-bird.
Tori's avian animatronics is firing on all cylinders,
Good Cory buster.
but it won't be flying solo.
Okay, so I finished the turkey chandelier. We can drop up to 40 turkeys onto the hood of the car at 25 pounds apiece. That's upwards of 1,000 pounds of poultry. Here we go. Fire one, fire two. Just like that.
With their bird booty in tow, the MythBusters head to the deserts of New Mexico, where they've traveled in style.
but it is about time we get to ride in style on this show.
All right, I think this is the perfect candidate for experiment.
Let's push it off a cliff.
It's kind of a shame, don't you think?
Not really.
Yeah.
On tall, we're gonna balance our limo at the edge and see if a bird landing on it will send it over. I'm getting out of here.
The good news is that at least Tori won't be in the car when it tips.
Adios, muchachos.
Nice trip.
See you next fall.
But with only one limo, they can't risk losing it before they've even started.
The luxury car. And what do? We throw it off a cliff.
And to do just that, the car is first hoisted into place and then balanced on its predetermined tipping point.
Remember, this is all about the science of the fulcrum. The further out we are from the fulcrum, the easier it is for a small weight to be able to tip that lever and basically tip our car off the cliff.
But will the Corey Bustard be enough to tip the balance?
The car is perfectly balanced. We're about to drop our heavy bird, the single bird experiment. I think we actually have a shot at this one. I think that car is going to go off the cliff.
All right, you guys ready to do this? This is the Corey Buster, the heaviest flying bird landing on the front end of the limo.
Okay, here we go. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Coming up next on MythBusters. I'm not actually really sure.
Plus, Adam and Jamie get exuberant with excavators.
Oh, stop! We might have gotten it.
With cannons behaving chaotically, it's time to switch gears.
Remember excavator exuberance?
I do. We tried rolling, water skiing, and climbing, all based on YouTube videos, and it turned out you could do all those things.
Gotta be one of the strangest things that I've ever done.
As each stunt, based on pure mechanical power, was confirmed.
Holy crap, it's working!
But now, in a viewer request fest,
This is perfect!
the